I do not feel like I have been in the right headspace this week to create, and making a video like this. And just my mind, my focus has been scattered just all over the place. And it's given the times and given that we're on the verge of one of like the biggest elections coming up in US history and during a very unprecedented time in US history, it's really just been, I started to feel like it was kind of my duty or my responsibility as an entertainer, as a business owner, as an American, to say something about everything that's going on and hopefully express myself in such a way that it resonates with somebody else out there and we are able to start a conversation to get us moving as a whole, as people, in the right direction. So I decided to make this video to kind of talk about the state of things. And so, I'm not going to tell you you have to be a good person, even though I think you should be. And I don't know how to even say be a good person or describe what a good person is without having some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Contradiction. Without a contradiction and having some sort of conflicting ideas to say, well, this, but also this, which is the opposite of this. So, with that, I'm kind of just going to throw out some thoughts. I got a call recently from the storage unit where I keep my bus, and it had been vandalized. Window got busted out, door got pried open, and I had to go through all these hoops and everything about, are you pressing charges on this, talk to insurance about this, and everything with the storage unit. And when it was all said and done, I got back home, I just remember feeling extremely angry. Like, I was so mad. And granted, this kind of thing does merit a little bit of anger, but the kind that I was feeling is I was just so wound up about this and so upset. And it kind of occurred to me that it wasn't just this one thing. I'm like, what is it that's made me so mad? This event turned out to be the tipping point to it. But there are so many small things that are going on now in 2020 that are piling on to that feeling, that just a little bit each time, until finally you just feel the weight of all of it. And it all kind of hits you at once. And I feel like I can't be the only person feeling that way or thinking these kind of things. There must be other people feeling that same way. And so I decided to just kind of talk about that and touch on this topic since it is extremely relevant right now. And honestly, even though it's relevant now, it doesn't mean it won't be relevant later, because I feel like people are always in conflict and there's always something impacting life in a less than positive way. I read an article that talked about negative partisanship. It basically said that even though there are a large number of liberals who have some sort of conflict with the decisions that the Democrat Party is making, that despite that, they hate Republicans and will not change it. And even though there are a large number of conservatives who also have conflict with and uneasement with decisions that the Republican Party are making, they hate Democrats, and that's it, only staying on one side. And it's causing this further division between, communities and people and towns and the country. It's causing this division, and it's rooted in miscommunication, misunderstanding, and growing hatred that is pushing people further apart that may not necessarily actually be that far apart in their beliefs or views, but are being forced further and further apart by people who will push their opinions onto your opinions and sort of, and vilify political adversaries and say that because they don't think this thing and I think this thing, that they are wrong, they are the enemy, and they are trying to destroy us. The other side this and the other side that. And it's amazing to watch it happen and not know how to stop it from happening, from getting rid of that miscommunication and getting people past the surface thing and really getting them into a room where they try to understand each other. I guess what I'm trying to say in all of this is just try to inform yourself, try to go out there and get as much information as you can, educate yourself, and then go out and have these conversations with people. Have conversations, not arguments, but conversations. And really try to understand a person with a view opposite of yours. If you can approach a conversation from a point of listening rather than a point of going out to make your perspective seen, to go out and say that this is how I feel and this is why it's right and this is why you should feel that way. If you approach it from a listening perspective and really just want to hear what someone else has to say and learn from them, especially if they don't think the same thing you do, I think that is what is going to start to bring people back together and stop the divide that is happening right now. About a week ago or so, I spent a weekend with 12 other individuals at a ranch where we were completely, well, maybe not completely, but we were definitely pretty polar opposite on our political beliefs and religious beliefs and things like that. And it was a really interesting experience because even though all this was pretty clear from the get-go that we had very different views on things, it didn't stop anyone there from being kind to people and being kind to me because I was the kind of odd man out in that situation. No one ever made me feel unwelcome. There was no violent behavior, no craziness towards anyone. And we were able to have conversations that sometimes we'd agree on things and sometimes we wouldn't. And we would just move past it and keep going. And it was a really eye-opening experience because, for example, I will say when I pulled up, everyone was outside on the porch. And we're on the porch, but it's also not like a huge spot where everyone's at. And I am one of two people wearing a mask. And of course, first thing that goes through my head is, okay, people are they're going to make fun of me, they're going to trash talk me. These are folks who don't believe in wearing the mask and whatever it is that constitutes. And right off the bat, we're going to have a problem, right? Because that is the stereotype that we have been told, is that if someone's an anti-mask for whatever reason, they automatically hate whoever wears a mask and there's going to be problems. And that just wasn't the case. Like, the people there acknowledged the fact that I had one, went on about their business, and we talked like people should talk to each other. It didn't change anything. And it didn't cause any fights and arguments, and everyone kind of kept their distance otherwise and respected the fact that that I was wearing a mask and this was happening, and everything was fine. There was no issue there. One term that I've seen getting used over and over, and I feel like it's getting misused and misrepresented, is it's a free country. And I've seen that pop up on social media more than a few times. Well, it's a free country. I can say what I want. I can do what I want. It's my right. It's my freedom. And to an extent, I get that. But what I think is really meant by it's a free country, what the idea, the foundation of that idea is, let's take music. In music, let's say a person says they do not like polka music. Polka music's not their thing. They won't buy a CD. They won't go to a concert. They say, I do not like polka music. That is their freedom to do that. Their freedom to choose. That is their right to say they do not like it. And that's okay. That does not make them any better or worse than anybody else. Now, if that same person were to go to a music venue and see a polka band playing and throw beer bottles at them and kick in their amps and knock over all their stuff and say, I hate polka, get out. That is you taking your freedom to say, I do not like polka music, and using it to abuse somebody who does and try to push them out for not agreeing with you. And I think that's where the miscommunication, the misconceptions are happening, is that, yes, it is a free country, and I hope that never changes, but I don't think that's the same thing as being like, I'm free to do whatever I want to whoever I want anytime I want to. That's not the same thing. Hatred's not going to help people. Fear is not going to help people. And I just think we can do better than that. Everybody can. Both sides. All sides. Everybody can do better. And I guess that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments.